Hi mate, here's the video review I promise you. I'll jump straight into it. I'm pretty new to doing the videos on these. Usually we actually send a report, but it's much better explaining things in layman's terms, I think, doing these videos. So I'll just jump straight into it. The first thing we do when we look at a website is we run the Google mobile website speed test. You can do this yourself online as well. This determines, basically, this gives an idea of how the site was developed previously. Unfortunately, yours seems to have been developed the fast route where they don't optimize anything for like page speed, which is it's very bad practice that these days, because 70% of your clientele now are going to be searching on mobiles. So your website needs to respond quickly on mobiles and be like, be able to scroll up and down and find the information very easily. We've run a test on yours. The page speed is 15 seconds to load, which the industry average is 3 to 5 seconds. That's what you should be aiming at, because people just don't wait 15 seconds. So Google actually say, and this is a Google accredited report, they actually say you will lose 32% of your visitor loss. So if your website was up there in Google, and someone clicked on the website, you'd be losing 30% before they even looked at the website, which is not a very good statistic. This report, I do have the full report in how to optimize the website. There's probably an hour's worth of work to get that page speed down to something what will work. The main things. This is the actual GT metrics report, which this gives you absolutely every little detail about your website. And these are the top 5 things that need doing. The scaled images, I actually knew about the images when I looked at the site. You could just tell that they'd not been optimized for the web. I mean, one of the images is something like 2 megabytes, which is crazy on a website. It should be about 200 kilobytes. I mean, 100 kilobytes ideally. They take time to load. And all these here are code issues. And basically that's because you're on a WordPress platform, and a lot of developers, when they develop websites on WordPress, they don't go the extra mile and install the correct plugins to compress the right files in the right places, to minify the CSS and the JavaScript. In fact, I'd say every 9 out of 10 websites we analyse in this area, WordPress websites, this isn't done, and this is so important. I'll show you the comparison between my website when I've done. Just to give you an idea, the cost for that is around £49, and what we do is we'll optimise the images in the site, which is the main issue on your site. We'll also install 5 separate plugins which will speed up the website and get you up to that 3 to 5 second page load speed. So that was the first thing we found on the site, and that's the functionality side, whereby we want the site to be working correctly before you even carry out any SEO. Because if you think about it, if you have SEO done and you're paying someone to do SEO, and then people are visiting the site, there's just no point. If they're not converting, if they're just leaving straight away, which is what will happen, there's just no point in that. There's a thing called bounce rate. I'd like to see the bounce rate on your site, but I'm not privy to the stats, because obviously I don't host the site. But I'm guessing it's very, very high, and that's not something that you should have. Your website is actually not too bad design-wise, but depending on your budget, you could have something a lot better, and something that will convert a lot better. There are a few issues that I made notes on, so I'll just jump into them now. So your website, the positives is that you're on a WordPress platform. It's a full width layout, which is good, and it's good for mobiles. It is mobile responsive, so that's good. It just lacks authority and credibility, really. Although you do have these images in the slider, they're not the best images, if I'm honest. I will show you a comparison as to what I mean. It needs more authenticity on the site. If you imagine the people that are going to be visiting your website are probably the families of the people that are going to be staying there. So they need to be really assured that this is the place for their family member. So the biggest thing that it's lacking really is a more personal approach. So say a team page where it actually shows the faces of your team, even a little explanation about each one. The best team pages I see are where the personality of the person shows through, because it's all about connecting with your client. So if they can read a little profile about one of your members of your team, they can actually feel like they already know them before they've even met them, if that makes sense. And it just builds trust and credibility. The other thing you need is testimonials. That's very important. The best thing you could do on your website is to have a video testimonial from the family of a client that already stays at your care centre. That would just be the holy grail. That would give your website a conversion of, I'd say, at least 50 to 75% better conversion. And we are able to track all this, by the way, through Google Analytics, if you were to go ahead and work with us. The other thing I noticed is it's missing calls to action and maybe a download a brochure option. I know you've got a Who We Are section here, and that has a little bit of information in there. But if I'm honest, people these days don't tend to read a lot of text, so you've got to try and incorporate this more visually. I will show you on the demo I'm about to show you. Apart from that, you have got a good platform. It just needs bringing. The people who design this are probably not marketers. They're just purely web designers, and you've sent them a bit of content, and that's the difference between our websites and a standard web designer. We look at how the website's going to convert and bring in new business, because there's no point you having a nice looking website if it's not going to generate you new business. So that's what we live for, and that's what we love to do. So I'll just show you a demo of a care home or a care kind of themed website. So as you can see, there's phone number right at the top, a brochure download at the top. A brochure is really good. People like to download something and read something before they commit to it, sometimes even contacting you. If you haven't got a brochure, we can help with that. They're not too expensive to have designed, and I'm sure if we were to work together on the website, we'd be able to do some kind of discount. But as you can see, every slider has calls to action, request an appointment, jobs. And if we scroll down, there's more imagery, less text, calls to action again, large pictures, patients smiling, easy to access information where you don't have to scroll through, but you can see the text it's not all put in one section, it's split up for easier readability really. A why choose section is always good. News of what's going on around the care centre, that's important in this industry. And testimonials, like I said before, they are the biggest conversion on a website. We've done tests where we run our website without testimonials for a month, and then we ran it again with testimonials, and our conversions were through the roof. I mean, it's just crazy of how much it makes a difference. So they're just a few little things that I can point out to you now. If you want to obviously have a chat on the phone, I'm going to try and keep this video under 10 minutes because I know it's quite a long time and you're a busy person. But hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight and shows you that we are a little bit different than most web designers. You can add me on Facebook if you like. You can search my page. It's SB Web Design and Media. I'll just show you quickly. It's a little bit slow because I've got a lot of things running. But as you can see, that's my picture. If you just search me up, like my page, have a read a few of my reviews, and you can see some of my projects there. Hopefully I'll speak to you soon, mate. Cheers!